So, division with decimals. Okay, so if I have a problem like 54, oh, I'm going to get a simpler one than that. Okay. 1.2 divided by 6. Okay, if I just take the decimal point out, don't look at it right now. What do you notice between the relationship between this number and this number? If I try to block the decimal point out for a second, what do you notice, Paisley?
Well, if you look at the decimal, 12, and then 6 is half of 12.
Okay, good. So if I took the decimal point out, what would be my answer? Say it looked like this. What do you know is the answer? 2. Okay, so I basically can say the same thing here, that 1.2 divided by 6 is 2 in some form. Okay, what do I know, what do I need to do to this 2 so that it would be the correct answer? Cooper? Right here. Because, let's think if it makes sense. This is a little greater than 1, okay, divided by 6. My answer has to be, it can't be just 12, or just 2. It has to be less than 2. I also could look at it this way. If I have just 12 divided by 6, I have 1 decimal place here, so I have to have the same on this side of the equal sign. I move the decimal place over 1. Does that make sense? So that it's fair. Remembering that when I have equal signs, that on this side of the equal sign has to equal this side of the equal sign. I can't have a bunch of extra stuff. It's got to be equal because that's what it says, right? So it's like a balance. Do you know what a balance is? Okay, where you have a thing with a pan, and it goes over like this, and it has this cool stand.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then you can put if you put more on this side, I put a circle on this side, then I have to put another circle on this side, or the scale will tip, right? The scale will tip, so I have to be careful. So that's why I'm looking at my decimal point. Well, I have 1 decimal place on this side, so I have to have 1 decimal place on this side in order for it to be equal. What if I have 1.2 divided by 60? Ooh, this looks creepy. Okay, well, I just did 1.2 divided by 6, and what was that answer?
2, so it'd be 20.
No. Let's just start with the 2 first. If I have 12 divided by 6, I get 2, right? But on my last problem, when I had 1.2 divided by 6, my answer was 0.2. I'm dividing it by 10 more. I'm dividing it again. So it's like I'm saying, I have this answer, 0.2, and I'm dividing it by 10 again. So where does my decimal place go? Jasper?
It goes 1 step ahead. So it goes 1. You put a 0 in front of the 2 and you put the decimal.
Right, I have to move my decimal place again, so it's 0.02. Okay, so you should be writing this down in your notebook so you can see the examples. Make sure you have examples. Okay, so looking at this again, I have 1.2 divided by 60. That's a lot, right? Because I'm really dividing this whole thing by 10 again. That's going to be a super, super small number because this is basically barely over 1. And I'm dividing it into 60 parts. Like saying 1 candy bar and a little extra divided into 60 for 60 kids. You get 2 1/100ths of a piece of candy. That isn't very nice. Jared?
In this lesson, will we be learning how to make decimals out of say a division problem instead of remainder? Like,
Yes.
not today, but
Yeah, that will be coming this week, yes. Okay, what about this problem? 2.4 divided by 4. What are my friendly numbers? 24 and 4. If I just had 24 divided by 4, I'd have what? 6. But my answer is what? I have an extra decimal place. So, Docs, 6/10. And I can check my answer. What is 0.6 times 4? Well, 4 times 6 is 24. 1 decimal place. There we go. The answer is 2.4. Check, I did it correctly. Okay, if I have 2.4 divided by 40, it's the same thing as saying 2.4 divided by 4 divided by 10, right? Because I have this. So is my answer going to be small? Absolutely way small. So I have 0.6 is the answer, divided by 10 is 0.06. Because if I'm on my mat, I can see that if I'm at 0.6, right, I'm going away from the decimal point. I'm getting even smaller if I'm dividing by 10, so I have 0.06. What's my friendly number? 45 divided by 9 is 5. How many decimal places over? 1, 2, right? So 0.45 divided by 9 is 0.05. Now, you don't have to have all this like memorized or anything, but you got to look at it and go, does this make sense? If I have this, 0.45 is about half. Okay, if I have half of something divided by 9, it's going to be super small pieces, right? Super small pieces. All of these are not good candy problems because it's not going to be very good, right? It's not fair. Okay, now let's get into something a little, the old-fashioned way. So if I have 0.45 divided by 9. This is the same problem, but written this way. Okay? If my divisor doesn't have a decimal place in it, I don't need to do anything else. But I just leave my decimal place goes right up here. And then can 9 go into 4? No. Can 9 go into 45? Ooh, I get the same answer. Okay, what about, so I'm showing you 2 different ways so that if you like the horizontal way, you could do it that way. If you'd rather do it using the long division symbol instead, you can do it that way. What if I have 0.56 divided by 70? What am I going to do? First of all, I'm going to put my decimal place up here. Now what? Can 70 go into 56?
no.
Can 70, do I need another 0? Okay. Now what? So I can do it this long way to show you. 0 times 70 is 0. Bring down the 6. 70 goes in 56, 0. 0 times 70 is 0. Subtract 56, bring down the next 0. 70 goes in 560. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 7 is 56. Done. You see how much extra work that is? But if I use my friendly numbers, I don't have to do all this long stuff. But if you want to do the long stuff, you totally can. Okay? But if I use my friendly numbers, I can see, oh, Well, 7 times 8 is 56. Why do I have to put it way over here? Because I know that 70 doesn't go into 56, but it does go under 560. So I have to put my 0 placeholders in. Okay, so this is an introduction to what we're going to be doing. We're going to pick it up tomorrow with a bunch more to do. Okay, so that's all for today. No assignment.